Well, in other news, the Taliban has opened a war front along Pakistan's volatile border. Pakistan's military has announced that it killed 54 militants who attempted to cross over from Afghanistan, underlining the severe threats brewing at its fronts. All this even as tensions with India threaten to spiral out of control. According to the Pakistan Army, the operation started late Friday and continued into Saturday night in North Waziristan district, a rugged part of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, right along the Afghan border. Troops monitoring the sector spotted a large group of militants moving in and swiftly launched an operation, claiming to kill all 54 militants. A large stockpile of weapons and explosives was also recovered in the operation. Interestingly, the Pakistani military has remained silent about any losses or injuries among its own forces, raising more questions than answers. The magnitude of the militant deaths marks one of the bloodiest episodes Pakistan has witnessed since the Taliban seized control of Afghanistan nearly 4 years ago following the US withdrawal. Since then, Pakistan's western borders have steadily descended into a hotbed of violence. The banned outfit Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, better known as TTP, has ramped up assaults on Pakistani troops, further straining Islamabad's already tense ties with the Afghan Taliban. Well, Pakistan accuses Kabul's rulers of sheltering these fighters, a charge the Taliban leadership flatly denies. The emergence of this front comes as Baloch separatists continue to launch deadly attacks in southwest Pakistan. And on the eastern flank, the situation remains tense following the Pahalgam terror attack last week. Pakistan now ranks second on the global terror index for 2025, with terror-related deaths shooting up by staggering 45% last year, reaching 1,000 fatalities. Pakistan's multiple security challenges have never looked more dangerous, and the worst may be yet to come. The United States has been bombing Houthi positions in Yemen for the past 43 days with the aim of neutralizing what they claim is a growing threat to shipping routes in the Red Sea and Gulf of Aden. According to the Houthis, at least a latest US airstrike devastated a migrant detention center deep inside the Houthi stronghold of Sada earlier today. At least 68 people lost their lives in that single attack by the US. In a statement, the U.S. military Central Command said it would offer no specific details of its extensive airstrike campaign in Yemen. Eyewitnesses on the ground described the attack. A Yemeni citizen accused American forces of attacking defenseless prisoners, many of whom still remain trapped under the wreckage.
These are strikes by the American Zionist aviation in Saada Governorate on the detention center. These are innocent prisoners who have no connection, and they are in tens, if not in hundreds, still under the rubble and torn to shreds.
Hospital staff in Sada said they are treating dozens of patients with emergency surgeries underway.
They hit the African's hangar. We received various surgical cases, ranging from moderate to critical to mild. Medical services were provided, and we are now sorting cases. Some cases were transferred to the surgery department for treatment, while others are being treated on site.
While visuals from Sada reveal the extent of the devastation, the detention center primarily housed African migrants, many of them from Ethiopia and Somalia. Many of these migrants had previously risked the treacherous journey across Yemen, clinging to hopes of reaching Saudi Arabia for work and a better future. According to the Houthi-controlled Interior Ministry, approximately 115 migrants had been detained in the facility when the airstrike hit. U.S. Central Command continues to remain tight-lipped about the details of its military campaign, dubbed Operation Rough Rider, However, officials conceded that since mid-March, American forces have struck over 800 targets across Yemen, killing more than 250 people. The CENTCOM further said, and I am quoting here, the operation has been conducted by a strong assembly of forces, including 2 carrier strike groups. The Houthis, backed by Iran, have shot down at least 7 US MQ-9 Reaper drones since the start of US airstrikes on March 15th. The Iran-backed group also controls the narrative coming out of their war-torn territory. As the US airstrike, shifting our focus to Bangladesh, the radical Islamist group Hifazat-e-Islam has now sent a strong warning to Chief Advisor of the interim government, Muhammad Yunus. It said that Yunus will be treated like deposed Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina if the proposals made by the Women's Commission, we're talking about the Women's Affairs Reform Commission, are put into action. In a series of stern warnings at various protest rallies organized across the country, triggered by the Commission's recent report, the Islamist group Hifazat claims that the proposals made by the Commission go against Islamic laws. Not just that. Hifazat leaders also condemn the proposals as being in direct conflict with the Quran and Sunnah, which lay the foundation for Islamic belief and practice. And this matter spiraled quickly out of control when another ultra-Islamist political party, Khilafat Majlis, even demanded the abolition of the Women's Affairs Reform Commission altogether. Last week, the Women's Affairs Reform Commission submitted its report containing a total of 433 recommendations to Yunus, among which is number 1, uniform family law covering marriage, divorce, inheritance, and maintenance for women of all religions. To this, a bunch of radical Islamist outfits raised objection, demanding that the government should scrap the unacceptable and controversial recommendations of the Commission with immediate effect. Earlier, the radical groups had worked hand in glove with the student leaders and Yunus government to overthrow the democratically elected government of the Awami League. However, much of that picture is now changing, with unity among these political parties gradually fading. That's since the ouster of Sheikh Hasina in August 2024. In Bangladesh, women's reforms have long been a political flashpoint, with the Commission reaffirming gender justice as the foundation of national progress. But thanks to radical Islamist dogmas, many of these remain unrealized till date. Now the question is, with the radical Islamist groups rallying cry against gender justice and threats against the Yunus government, what lies ahead? That we'll have to wait and watch. A massive power outage knocked out electricity in large parts of Spain, Portugal, and also some parts of southern France. In Spain and Portugal, massive power outages shut off traffic lights, causing chaos at airports, train stations, and on the roads. European Air Traffic Organization, Eurocontrol, has said that power cut has also disrupted air traffic, affecting flights to and from Madrid, Barcelona, and even Lisbon. The cause of the outage that hit Spain, Portugal, and parts of southern France was not known immediately. Parts of France also appeared to be affected, according to Spanish media reports, which said Sevilla, Barcelona, and Valencia were hit by the outage. Areas bordering Spain are also reporting being hit by the blackout. EU chief says at this point there are no indicators that the massive blackout in Spain is cyber attack. However, Spain's grid operator has now said that power has returned to parts of north, south, and west Spain. According to Portugal's grid operator, this outage that has affected Portugal was caused by a fault in the Spanish electricity grid, related to a rare atmospheric phenomenon. And that's due to extreme temperature variations in Spain. There were anomalies, oscillations in very high voltage lines. This is known as induced atmospheric variation, which according to the Portugal grid operator led to oscillations causing synchronization on failures between the systems. It led to successive disturbances across the interconnected European network. And these are the visuals from Lisbon, showing halted elevators, people waiting for buses as trains were cancelled amid the massive fire power outage. According to the authorities, Spain intercity trains are impossible to restore due to the blackout. In Madrid, meanwhile, as power outage took place, confusion and disruption also quickly took hold. Traffic lights across the city went dark, causing traffic jams at key intersections. Radio stations reported that parts of the Madrid underground were evacuated and many commuters were left stranded without buses or metro services.
I have never seen anything like what is happening today in Madrid.
Vivimos en la lucha. Sí.
All right, as large parts were hit by blackouts, Madrid residents flocked to supermarkets. People were seen buying milk, canned goods and toilet paper, among other non-perishable goods.
I don't know. We've been without electricity for a while now. We don't know how long it's going to be, so we are buying what's possible to buy for the moment.
The blackout across Spain and neighboring Portugal was such that it cancelled the play at the Madrid Open for the rest of the day. Whereas Spain's nuclear power plants automatically stopped on Monday when a massive blackout hit. The officials said that the diesel generators were keeping them in safe condition.